The cage was small and cold, made of rusted metal bars, high above the ground in the crowded auction hall. The alien girl sat quietly. Her big eyes filled with fear and pain. Her skin was pale, marked with scars from many harsh days. She looked around, seeing other slaves, some angry, some broken, some too tired to care anymore. But she felt different. Something inside her told her she was not like them. She held her knees close to her chest, trying to stay as small as possible, but she was a giant compared to others, tall and strong, and that made her worse in the eyes of the buyers. Many of them whispered, "Too big. Not for breeding. Not useful." She heard the cruel words, and her heart sank even deeper from far away. She saw the crowd gather below, loud voices calling out prices for the slaves. The auctioneer's voice was sharp and cold, selling hope and pain in the same breath. The alien girl's eyes scanned the room nervously, looking for the next buyer. Then she saw a man walk inside, a middle-aged human with calm steps. He looked different, not like the others who screamed or laughed cruelly. He wore simple clothes, but his eyes were strong and serious. The girl's heart beat fast. Fear and hope mixed inside her. She thought, "Will he buy me to hurt me? Will he break me like the others?" She had heard stories of humans who bought slaves for torture, for cruel games, for slavery worse than death. She pulled her arms tighter around herself, waiting for the worst. The man stopped in front of the cage and looked directly at her. Their eyes met for a long moment, and she saw something strange in his gaze. Not hate, not greed, but curiosity and calm. The auctioneer started the bidding loudly. "Who will give 500 credits for the giant slave girl?" The voices shouted, 200, 300, 400. But no one wanted to pay more. They wanted a smaller slave, easier to control, easier to sell again. The alien girl felt tears forming, thinking she was worthless, unwanted, a burden. Then the man surprised everyone. "I bid 1,000 credits, he said softly but clearly. The crowd fell silent, shocked by the high offer. The auctioneer's eyes widened. 1,000 credits. "Do I hear more?" No one answered, and the man's bid won. The girl was confused, her fear still strong but mixed with a small spark of hope. The man unlocked the cage carefully and stepped inside. He did not look like a cruel owner, but a tired man who carried heavy secrets. He reached out his hand gently. "Come with me," he said. She hesitated, her old fear telling her to run. But her body was weak from years of abuse. She looked into his eyes again. Seeing no threat this time, slowly, she stepped out of the cage, her legs trembling. She touched the man's hand lightly, feeling a strange safety she never knew. The man led her through dark halls filled with whispers and hungry eyes. Slaves watched silently as she walked free for the first time in many years. But the danger was not gone. The traders whispered about her, the girl no one wanted, but the man who paid the highest price. The alien girl did not know why he chose her, but she hoped it was for good. Outside, the air was cool and fresh, different from the stench of the auction house. The man carried a small bag with food and water. "You must eat," he said kindly. "You look weak." She looked down, ashamed of her tired and wounded body. "Thank you," she whispered. As they walked away, the girl looked back once more at the dark building, the place that held years of pain and fear. She wondered if she would ever see it again, or if this human would truly save her. The man did not say much, but his quiet strength told her one thing: she was no longer alone. Suddenly, a shout came from behind. "Stop them! The slave is stolen!" The girl's heart jumped, and the man's steps quickened. They ran through narrow alleys and twisting streets. The shadows around them seemed alive, full of danger and enemies. The alien girl's fear rose again, but this time she held onto the man's hand tightly, feeling that maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something new. The city lights flickered as the man and the alien girl hurried through the twisting streets. The night was cold, but the girl felt a strange warmth from the human's calm presence. She still did not trust him fully. Years of pain had taught her to be careful. But something about his quiet way made her hope that maybe this was different. The man stopped near an old building, worn and small, but safe from the eyes of the slave traders. He looked at the girl carefully, his face softening. "You are safe here," he said simply. She nodded slowly, her big eyes watching every move. Still unsure if this was a trap or a home. Inside, the room was plain but clean. With a small bed and a table, the man placed the bag of food on the table. "Eat. You need strength." The alien girl hesitated, but hunger was stronger than fear. She took the food, her hands trembling as she ate slowly, afraid to trust the kindness. Outside, the city was quiet, but danger was close. The slave traders would not forget the girl easily. They had lost a valuable slave and would do anything to get her back. The man knew this and was already planning their next steps. The alien girl watched him silently, curious about who he was and why he had saved her. "Why did you buy me?" she finally asked, her voice soft but filled with years of pain. The man looked away for a moment, then answered, "Because no one should suffer alone." She blinked, surprised by the simple words. "But you don't even know me," she said. He smiled faintly. "I don't need to know everything to help." Days passed, and the alien girl slowly learned small things about the human. His name was Mark, and he was not like the others who only cared about money. Mark worked in the city's old repair shop. Fixing broken machines and tools, he lived alone, quiet, and never asked for much. But he had a strong heart. The alien girl, who once thought she was worthless, began to feel a small spark inside her. Mark showed her kindness she had never seen, and she started to trust him a little, but every night she dreamed of the auction cage and the cruel traders. Her past was not far behind, always threatening to pull her back into darkness. One evening, as Mark cleaned his small shop, the alien girl watched him quietly. She noticed his tired eyes and the weight he carried on his shoulders. "Mark," she said softly, "what makes you help me?" He paused and looked at her. "I was alone once too," he said. "I know how it feels." She nodded, understanding for the first time that this human had his own battles. Suddenly, a loud noise broke the calm. A group of men entered the shop. They wore rough clothes and cruel faces. The same slave traders from the market, hand over the girl. Their leader growled, stepping closer. The alien girl's heart raced. But Mark stood firm, blocking their way. "You won't take her," Mark said quietly, but with power. The traders laughed. "You? Just one man." Mark reached under the counter and pulled out a small, shining device. "It's not just one man," he said. "I have friends who don't like slave traders." The traders hesitated, sensing danger, but greed made them bold. They lunged forward, trying to grab the alien girl. Mark pushed them back, the device glowing bright in his hand. A sharp sound filled the air, and the traders dropped to their knees, holding their ears. "Leave now and never come back," Mark warned. His voice cold, the traders looked at each other and fled into the night. Defeated but angry, the alien girl looked at Mark with wide eyes. Her fear mixed with respect. "Thank you," she whispered. "I never knew humans could be like this." Mark smiled gently. Not all humans are cruel. Some fight for what is right. The alien girl felt a warmth in her heart she had never felt before. For the first time, she dreamed of a life beyond cages and chains. A life where she was not a slave, but a person, free and safe. But the danger was far from over, and the city held many secrets. Mark and the alien girl had only just begun their fight for freedom. Together, they would face enemies, betrayals, and their own fears, but with each other, they found hope and the courage to survive. The city's streets were alive with shadows and whispers as Mark and the alien girl moved carefully through the night. Her heart pounded with a mix of fear and something new. Trust she had never felt safe outside a cage before, and every sound made her jump, but Mark's steady hand on her shoulder kept her grounded. Calm, they moved fast but quietly, slipping between dark alleys and hidden paths. The city was full of dangers, thieves, spies, and slave hunters, all looking for a prize. The alien girl's eyes scanned every corner, every shadow, ready to run or fight. Mark carried a small bag with essentials, food, water, and a device that could call for help. Suddenly, a soft noise behind them made Mark stop. Finger to his lips, signaling her to be silent. Footsteps echoed quickly. Too many to count, closing in fast. The alien girl's breath caught. They were being chased. Mark's face grew serious. "We have to split up," he whispered urgently. The girl shook her head. "No, I won't leave you," he smiled sadly. "You're strong, but I can't risk losing you. I'll draw them away." "You run," her eyes filled with tears, but she nodded, knowing he was right. Mark sprinted into the shadows, making noise to attract the hunters. The alien girl hid behind a stack of crates. Heart pounding as the footsteps came closer, she held her breath, praying silently, hoping Mark would be safe. The hunters shouted, "There!" After him, Mark ran fast, leading the pursuers away from the girl, using every trick he knew. The alien girl waited, frozen in place, tears streaming down her face. She felt helpless, but also determined. She would survive, no matter what. Minutes felt like hours, and finally the footsteps faded away. Mark returned quietly, smiling but tired. "You're safe," he said. She ran to him, hugging him tightly. "Thank you," she whispered. He held her close. "We're not safe yet. We need a better place." The next day, Mark took the alien girl to an old, abandoned building outside the city. It was small and hidden among trees, perfect for hiding. He worked hard to make it safe. Fixing broken windows and doors, the alien girl helped, feeling hope grow with every nail and plank. As they settled into their new refuge, the alien girl shared more about her past. She told Mark about the cruel traders, the cages, and the long years of pain. Mark listened quietly, never judging, only understanding. He told her about his own losses and why he chose to fight for her. Their bond grew stronger, but the shadow of danger loomed large. Mark showed her how to defend herself, teaching simple moves to protect her. The alien girl trained hard, determined to never be a victim again. One night, as they rested by a small fire, a soft cry broke the silence. They both froze, listening from the darkness. A small figure appeared, a boy no older than 10. He looked scared and hungry, eyes wide with fear. Mark and the alien girl exchanged worried glances. "Who are you?" Mark asked gently. The boy looked at the alien girl. "My mother." "She's trapped," he said, voice trembling. The alien girl's heart clenched. "Where is she trapped?" she asked. The boy pointed toward the city, in the Sky Hunters' nest. Mark's face darkened. "That place is a death trap." The alien girl stood, ready to help. "We can't leave her there." Mark nodded. "Then we have no time to waste." Together, they prepared for their next mission. The alien girl felt fear, but also a fierce determination. She was no longer alone, and she would fight for freedom, not just for herself, but for others too. The night was deep and dark as Mark, the alien girl, and the small boy approached the outskirts of the city. The boy's grip tightened on the alien girl's hand, his eyes wide with fear. "This is where they took her," he whispered, pointing toward a tall tower far above the city lights. The Sky Hunter's nest, a fortress built high in the air. Surrounded by guards and strange machines, the alien girl's heart pounded. memories of cages and pain flashing through her mind. Mark looked at the fortress, his jaw tight. "This won't be easy," he said quietly. They needed a plan. Rushing in would mean death. But waiting could mean losing the mother forever. Using the shadows, they moved closer. Hiding behind ruined walls and broken trees, the fortress was heavily guarded. With patrols walking the walls and strange beams scanning the air, Mark pulled out a small device, a jammer to block the guard's sensors. The alien girl watched, carefully, learning every detail, ready to fight if needed. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared through the night, piercing and cold. Someone triggered the alarm. Mark whispered. Eyes sharp, footsteps thundered nearby. Guards rushing toward their position. The boy whimpered, hiding behind the alien girl. Trembling with fear, Mark grabbed the boy and ran, the alien girl close behind. They dashed through narrow alleys, chased by angry voices and flashing lights. The alien girl felt her strength growing, her fear turning to fierce courage. She pulled the boy close, shielding him from danger. They reached a small tunnel Mark had found earlier, a hidden escape route. Inside, the air was damp and cold. But it was safe for now. Mark looked at the boy. "Tell me everything you know." "About your mother's prison," the boy nodded. "She is locked in a high room behind thick glass. The sky hunters watch her day and night." The alien girl clenched her fists. "We will get her out," she promised. As they rested in the tunnel, the alien girl thought about the years she had lost. Now, she was fighting not only for herself, but for others trapped in the cruel world. Mark prepared weapons and tools. Turning the tunnel into a secret base, the boy helped, bringing small supplies and hope. Days passed in silence and planning, every night filled with danger and hope. The alien girl trained harder, learning to move like the shadows. Mark taught her to use the weapons and gadgets they had stolen from the sky hunters. They prepared for a rescue that could change everything. One night, the boy woke them quietly. "My mother is weak." They planned to move her soon. Mark and the alien girl knew time was running out. They packed their gear and moved toward the fortress once again. Hearts pounding with fear and hope. The fortress guards were fewer at night, but more alert. The alien girl used her strength and speed to sneak past the patrols. Mark hacked into the security system, opening doors and disabling cameras. They reached the high room. The boy's mother was there, thin and tired, but alive. "Mom," the boy cried, running to her side. She looked up with tearful eyes. "Thank you for coming," she whispered. The alien girl smiled gently. "We're here to take you home." But as they turned to leave, alarms blared again. The sky hunters had discovered them, and the fortress shook with chaos. Guards stormed the halls, weapons ready to fire. Mark grabbed the mother and the boy, pushing them toward the exit. The alien girl fought fiercely, blocking the attackers with power and speed. Her past pain gave way to new strength. She was no longer a slave, but a warrior. They ran through the fortress, dodging lasers and traps. The way outside was close but dangerous. Mark's voice guided them. "Almost there. Keep moving." Finally, they burst into the night air, free but not safe yet. The sky hunters shouted behind them, but their voice was distant. The alien girl looked at the mother and boy. "We did it." "You're free," she said. Tears of relief and joy mixed with fear of what was to come. Mark nodded. This is just the beginning. Together, they disappeared into the dark city, ready to face whatever came next. Freedom had a price, but they were ready to pay it. The small group hurried through the dark city streets, the stolen freedom heavy in their hearts. The alien girl held the boy's hand tightly, while his mother leaned weakly on Mark's shoulder. They were far from safe. The slave traders and sky hunters would stop at nothing to reclaim their prize. Mark knew they had to hide, heal, and prepare. But the city offered little refuge. They found an abandoned warehouse, empty except for dust and old crates. Inside, Mark quickly set to work. Lighting small lamps and clearing space, the alien girl sat quietly, watching him, feeling a mix of fear and hope. Her chains were gone, but the scars on her wrists and soul ran deep. She touched her arms softly, remembering the cold metal and the pain. Mark noticed and brought out a small kit. "Let me help you heal," he said gently. She nodded, trusting him for the first time to touch her wounds as he cleaned the scars. He spoke softly. "You're stronger than you know." The alien girl looked up, eyes shining. "I want to be free." "Truly free," Mark smiled. "And you will be. We'll fight for it, together." Days passed with quiet healing, but the threat never left their minds. The Sky Hunters were relentless, sending spies and bounty hunters into the city. One evening, as they prepared a simple meal, distant shouts echoed nearby. Mark's face grew hard. "They're close," he said. Checking the exits, suddenly the door burst open and rough men stormed in, weapons drawn. The alien girl stood up quickly, ready to defend, but Mark held her back. "We can't fight them all," he warned. "We need to run." The men grabbed the boy and the mother, dragging them toward the exit. The alien girl screamed, "No." But her strength alone wasn't enough. Mark fought fiercely, buying time. But they were outnumbered. With a final shove, the men fled into the night, taking their captives. The alien girl dropped to her knees, tears falling freely. Mark clenched his fists, anger burning in his eyes. "We will get them back," she nodded, wiping her tears. "I'm not the same scared girl anymore. I will fight." Together, they followed the trail left by the kidnappers. Through dark alleys and abandoned docks, the city's secrets opened before them. Mark shared stories of his past, how he had lost family to cruel forces. The alien girl shared her own pain, their bond growing stronger through shared loss. They found a hidden base beneath the city, a place where the slave traders kept their prisoners. The alien girl's heart pounded as they planned their rescue. Mark showed her the weapons he had collected, small but powerful. She trained with determination, her fear replaced by fierce courage. The night of the rescue arrived, silent and cold. They moved like shadows, sneaking past guards and alarms. The alien girl's strength surprised Mark as she took down sentries quietly. They reached the holding cells where the boy and his mother were kept. The boy ran to her, crying, "Thank you for coming." His mother smiled weakly. "You are my hope," she said softly. Mark unlocked the cell and they hurried out, but alarms sounded again. The slave traders were alerted, and chaos erupted. Mark and the alien girl fought side by side, their moves synchronized with every strike. The alien girl felt her past breaking away. She was no longer a victim, but a warrior, fighting for freedom. And family, they escaped into the night once more. Free but aware of the long road ahead, the alien girl looked at Mark. "Thank you for believing in me." He smiled. "We believe in each other now." The days after the rescue were hard, but filled with new hope. Mark, the alien girl, the boy, and his mother hid in a small safe house. The alien girl's body was tired, but her spirit was stronger than ever. She looked at Mark with new respect. He had risked everything for her and the family. Mark watched her quietly, sensing her growing strength and trust. He knew this bond was more than just survival. It was something deeper. One evening, by the dim light of a single lamp, the alien girl spoke softly. "Why did you save me? Why risk so much?" Mark paused, looking at the worn walls, then said, "I've lost many people I loved. I could not stand by and watch someone else suffer. You reminded me why I fight. Not for money or glory, but for people. For those who have no one." The alien girl felt warmth spread inside her chest. For the first time, she saw Mark not as a stranger, but as someone who cared. Their hands brushed lightly, and a silent promise passed between them. They were no longer alone in a cruel world. They had each other, but danger still lurked outside. The slave traders were planning their next move, desperate to reclaim their lost property. Mark and the alien girl prepared for battle, not just to protect, but to end the nightmare. Mark showed her a small, hidden radio. "I contacted some old friends, people who fight against the slave traders. They will come to help us." When the time is right, the alien girl nodded, feeling hope bloom again. She trained daily with Mark, learning to handle weapons and tactics. One night, as they shared a quiet meal, the boy asked, "Will we ever be safe?" The alien girl smiled gently. "We will be," she promised, but in her heart. She knew the fight was far from over. Suddenly, a sharp noise outside broke the calm. Footsteps, many footsteps, approaching fast. Mark grabbed the radio. "They're coming." "Get ready." The alien girl's heart raced, but she stood tall, ready to face the storm. The door burst open, and a group of armed men stormed inside. The slave traders had found them again. The alien girl moved like lightning, blocking attacks. Mark fired his weapon with precision, protecting the boy and his mother. The fight was fierce, loud and brutal. The safe house shook with every strike. But the alien girl's courage shone brightest. She fought not just for herself, but for all those who could not fight. Just as the battle reached its peak, sirens wailed outside. Mark's friends had arrived, a small group of fighters ready. To end the nightmare, the slave traders hesitated, then fled into the night, defeated but not gone. Breathing hard, the alien girl looked at Mark. "We did it," she said. He nodded. "This is just the beginning. Together, we will bring freedom to many." The boy smiled, holding his mother's hand, hope shining in his eyes. That night, as they rested, the alien girl and Mark sat quietly. Their hands found each other again, a bond of trust and something more. In a cruel world, they had found strength in each other. The journey ahead was long, but together they were unstoppable. The dawn broke softly over the city as Mark, the alien girl, the boy, and his mother prepared for what might be their hardest fight yet. The slave traders had regrouped and were coming back with more men and weapons. Mark looked at the alien girl, his eyes full of determination. "This is our last chance. We have to end this now." The alien girl nodded, her heart steady and strong. She had come so far from the scared slave girl in the auction cage. Now she was a warrior, ready to fight for freedom, not just for herself, but for everyone trapped. In darkness, they moved through the city's dark streets, avoiding patrols and traps. Mark's friends joined them, fighters from a secret resistance. Together, they planned an attack on the slave traders' main base. It was a dangerous place, guarded by machines and armed men, but it held the key to ending the terror. As they approached the base, tension grew heavy. The alien girl's muscles tightened. Her senses sharp, she remembered every scar, every moment of pain, and turned it into fierce courage. The attack began silently, with shadows moving like ghosts. The alien girl led the charge, her strength and speed surprising the enemy. Mark fought beside her, his skill and calm saving lives. The boy and his mother stayed safe behind the fighters. Hope shining in their eyes, the battle was brutal and close, every moment filled with danger. The slave traders fought hard, but the resistance was stronger and smarter. The alien girl faced the cruel leader of the traders, a man with cold eyes and a cruel smile. She stood tall, ready to end the nightmare once and for all. With one swift move, she disarmed him and held him at her mercy. "Your chains end here," she said quietly. The leader sneered, but knew he was defeated. The resistance rounded up the remaining traders. freeing the prisoners chained in the dark. As the sun rose, the city began to breathe again. The alien girl looked at Mark and smiled. "We did it." "We're free," Mark nodded. "Freedom has a price, but it's worth every scar." The boy ran to his mother, hugging her tightly. Tears of joy and relief flowed freely. Mark turned to the alien girl. "You've changed everything," she smiled softly. We changed each other. Days later, the city celebrated a new hope rising from the ashes. The alien girl walked among the freed. No longer a slave, but a hero. Mark stood beside her. Proud and strong, together they built a new life, filled with trust, courage, and love in a world that once saw her as worthless. She had become a symbol of strength. Her story spread across the stars, a tale of pain, courage, and freedom. And through it all, one truth remained clear: no one is too broken to be saved.